Just sitting there looking at the files and how they said that it was no black women allowed on Epstein Island. Remember this: God's rejection is your protection. It's so many things that protected me from the things that rich people participate in. Amen.
So the worst sentence of the entire files has just been exposed to 12 million people. No black girls allowed on Epstein's Island. Epstein said, in quotes, "Don't bring any nice women." That's what he said, okay? And yeah, people are very, very mad about this, guys. Just look at the reactions before you go on and scroll. Blacks are now going to complain about racism for not being... Yeah, so a lot of people are complaining that are of that ethnicity. But it's like, do you want to be on the island? What is going on? I don't really understand that, to be honest with you. I think for once, this is actually a good thing to be right. Like, okay, that... Oh my god, dude. Bye-bye, college. It's over. What did I just say? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, guys, what do y'all think was in the comments? People were saying this is a win for the black girls. Literally the only time racism. Yeah, so I don't know. What do y'all think about this in the comment section? There's a lot more crazy stuff. I'm just going to go step by step and just keep revealing things to y'all because my last couple of videos, y'all really like them. Just because it seems like y'all haven't even seen some of this stuff. So I'm just going to keep going on Twitter, trying my best. So make sure to follow me. I'll keep showing y'all some stuff.
So I've seen a lot of people talking about the Epstein files and how one of the things is that he didn't want any NIIG hard ER girls there. But a lot of people did not continue to read to see why he did not want us there. He said because our girls would fight back. He said because we would tell our moms. He said because we were not going to be easily manipulated and easy prey. And what I say to that is, black women, you be proud. I know that society and specifically social media and the podcast bros are trying to make you feel as if something is wrong with you because you're not willing to be a doormat. You're not willing to be a pushover. You're not willing to let people take advantage of you and disrespect you. But I'm just here to remind you that there's nothing wrong with the fact that you're not a doormat. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you will speak out against sin and injustice. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you will defend yourself and that we will defend one another, right? It's awful what happened to so many of the girls and the little boys who were caught up in a trafficking, evil, maniacal, ritualistic, pedophilic cult, right? The atrocities that happened to these children. But things that the world will try and make into a negative trait about you are in fact oftentimes your strength, and they are positive traits. So bravo to all the black women who have empowered us when we were girls, from the time we got to be teens to the time we became adults, to be able to fight back.
You know, I did hear allegedly that black kids weren't allowed on the island, but my immediate response wasn't the same as the most, which was like, God bless being black, like racism benefited us for once. My immediate thought was that something more heinous was in store for us, or that we weren't like valued as human beings enough to be on the island, or like our voices centered in the stories of trauma. I don't think black people were excused from all the like grotesque, predatory, pedophilic behavior that was going on. If anything, I just feel like we are fetishized in a very unique way where it's almost as if it doesn't need to be platformed because people are so ashamed. I feel like the same could be said for like, you know, any marginalized community, fat people, trans people, gay people, disabled people. Like, people fetishize us and want to like harm us in like sexual violatory ways. I don't even know if violatory is a word. I just threw that in there because it felt like it made sense. But I also feel like with everything coming out with Epstein, like apparently, like I think they said like 1 million pages were released or some like insane number. And I just want to remind everyone that like these are some serious things coming out. And I know a lot of us have like been very desensitized to like the very systemic harmful things that have been happening as far as abusers and bigotry go. But I just want to remind everyone that not everyone has the same sense of humor, and it's very sensitive subject matter. And yeah. I'm sending strength and love to everyone affected by stuff like this, whether they are directly affected and like have long-standing trauma from the island, or they're just people who have experienced trauma, or they're just people that don't like hearing about it, because it's going to be rough. as people are unpacking everything within these files.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you're doing great from wherever you're watching me from. So apparently this is a Black History Month and it's worth celebrating. And there is also one thing which is worth celebrating, and it's happening in the Black History Month. And that's people getting to see that Black women were not involved in the Epstein files. See, this man called Jeffrey Epstein is an evil man, but he had boundaries, and the boundary that he had is he feared Black women. He feared Black people generally. Why? Because at the back of his mind, he knew when she used Black women sexually, Black women will fight back, because they know the fight that Black women can give, because Black people are always ready for the smoke. They are always ready to give the smoke. And he was not ready for that because he knew that they will fight back. But on the sideline, think about this. Sometimes being Black is good, right? Being Black is good, but in this way, it is good because, see, imagine if this could have happened to Black women the way we are seeing a lot of white women appearing on the Epstein files, and they are crying for help. They're telling people to help them fight this. Right, we could see some emails, some people even wrote poetry trying to describe how awful the situation or the scenario was. Black people, we are lucky. Black people, we are blessed. Black women, be proud that you're a Black person. So if I ever hear somebody complain or think lowly about being Black, see, Black has a lot of advantages than you can ever think. And a couple of these one is an advantage that Black people had. And I'm not celebrating that these happen to other white women and other group of people, but specifically, I'm trying to address the Black women in this video and generally Black people in this video, that this is something which is worth celebrating, right? So brothers and sisters, I'm gonna let you watch the video and then I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to work on for you. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.
Is the answer yes or no to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped? Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite
the
all
answer yes or no
leads.
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any
What
people
is
on
the
your
an-
side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the
Mr.
stats.
Patel.
Epstein did not want dark-skinned girls. Apparently his clientele was very, very focused on light-skinned girls. In other words, young girls. As a matter of fact, his age group reference was 14 to 17, and 14 was the real preference between those ages. And if you take a look at it, the other thing that comes into play is that when things got hot in the United States or here in the Americas, then he went ahead and had them search out girls in the European theater, mostly from the Eastern Bloc European theater. That's probably one of the reasons we don't have a lot of lawsuits coming out of there. In any event, this is just a little FYI. It would not hurt to go ahead and go in and do a little bit of searching on one of the databases. And keep in mind, we have a ton of additional information which is going to be brought out before this whole thing is all over with. This is News Happenings. Please like, share, and follow, and have an outstanding day ahead.
And happy Black History Month, y'all, because nothing says Black excellence like finding out that Black girls were not allowed to be on Epstein Island. To me, that's not discrimination. That's divine protection. Black folks weren't allowed to get on the Titanic either, and we saw how that turned out. No Epstein Island, no Titanic. Sometimes oppression can actually save your life.
He told, "Don't bring me any N-words. Never ever brought any friends." At this point in the interview, Attorney Barry advised the following. At Epstein's request, she at times met people on the beach and may have told them something to the effect of, "If you want to party, go to Epstein's." Following statement: shook her shoulders and head in the affirmative. Clarified that after what Jeff had done to her, she did not want it, the grapes and actual assaults, to be repeated, and she decided finding other girls for him, strangers she found in town, might spare her more abuse.
A while back, I was talking to a woman who voted for Donald Trump, and I asked her, "Do you think that Trump has committed the act of rape?" And her response was that we haven't seen the Epstein files, so we don't really know, and Bill Clinton did all of this, and I don't like Kamala Harris because of all of this other stuff. And I had to slow her down and be like, wait. I asked a very specific question. Do you think, in your personal opinion, that he has committed that act at some point in his life? And when I finally got her to answer the question that I asked, instead of 100 questions that I didn't ask, she said, "Yes, I think he probably has." She said, just knowing the person that he is and the person that he was when he was younger, I think at some point in his life he probably has done that. And then she said, "Even so, I think he was a better choice than Kamala Harris." And I think about this conversation every time another set of Epstein files are released. That I shouldn't hold out hope that people are going to see the Epstein files and be like, "Oh my goodness, he's not who I thought he was. Wow, we made a horrible mistake." No, a lot of people who voted for him thought that's who he was and voted for him anyway. Like when they voted for him the second time, he had already been found liable by a jury of sexual abuse. We already knew that he started dating his second wife while he was married to his first wife. We already knew that he falsified business records to hide hush money payments that he made to a porn star that he slept with 4 months after his third wife, Melania, gave birth to his son, Barron. People voted for him knowing that he was not a morally sound person. So if they find out that he did horrible things, that's not going to change their minds about him. They already know that he did horrible things. That's what they already believe. What I don't understand is how people can believe that someone who has shown over and over again that they're willing to abuse others and take advantage of others and cheat for their own self-interests is going to put you first, is going to put us first, that he's going to put the success of our country and of the American people over his own personal interests. Because if he wasn't loyal to any of his 3 wives, why would he be loyal to us? Like, why wouldn't you expect a man who has done horrible things in his past to do horrible things in his present? But whatever the answer is, I do think that the Epstein files can shock us and horrify us, but I don't think that they will change anyone's minds. Because no one ever thought he didn't do those things, even his supporters.
I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Nobody cares about those victims. Everybody that sat up here and watched those Grammys tonight absolutely proves it. A lot of those celebrities that got awards tonight, whether they was on stage or whether they was in the audience, was on those fucking Epstein files. And the fact that many of you still watched and supported it says a whole lot. Like I said before, y'all never gave a fuck about the goddamn victims. Y'all just cared whether or not Trump's name was in there, and y'all just needed to think pieces and gossip to fucking talk about. Let's be clear. There was so much heinous and satanic and dark shit that was in those files, and for us to wake up the next day and the day after the day and still support these people is absolutely fucking diabolical to me. We are the ones who actually hold the power, but yet for some reason y'all just keep giving it to them, keep giving them to them. Y'all don't want to believe that Jay-Z was in the files because y'all can't fathom Beyonce no longer being your fucking queen, right? You can't imagine Pusha T being in the files because him and his brother just dropped a dope ass album. A lot of y'all need to fucking stop being being delusional and come to fucking reality that this shit is deeper than we can think, imagine, or fathom. And I've said this before.
Jeffrey didn't want any black girls on that island? I mean, would you look at God? Racism really worked out in her favor with that one.
What do you guys think they're distracting us with this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing? Just the fact that he said that he don't even like black girls. What do y'all think they're trying to tell us? But don't worry about it, y'all. But since this is Black History Month and knowledge is power, I'm about to teach you 3 things that you probably didn't know about Black Wall Street, so pay attention. Now check this out. It was called the Greenwood District, and our money recycled 30 to 40 times faster than any system. And to this day, banks, insurance, real estate companies, they cannot replicate it, y'all. We really are the system. The destruction of Tulsa wasn't just about race, it was also about financial warfare as well. Did y'all know that these insurance companies quietly changed their policy to exclude riots to make sure that we don't file any claims against them? Did y'all know that? And just to prove to you that we are the Tartarians, it says Greenwood had luxury tech before white cities. The homes in Greenwood had indoor plumbing, telephones, pianos, and automobiles at a time when surrounding white neighbors did not. It was so out of their realm, they call it the Black Elite Economic Zone. Now ask yourself, why wasn't this taught to us? Out of all the stuff they taught us in school, we never learned about this. Black Wall Street wasn't destroyed because it failed. It was destroyed because it worked too well. Because the fact of the matter is, when we start to remember who we are, we stop begging for systems that were never created for us in the first place, and it's on our land. This is exactly why we created Black Wall Street digitally first, so then we can build something physical. This is not a meme coin over here. It's not a trend. It's not a pump. This is community infrastructure over here. Let me tell you something. Why are you still working a 9-to-5 for a system that owes us everything on our land? If you missed Black Wall Street the first time, don't worry about it. We are still here and we're growing in holders. If you're ready to create something strong for you and your family, financial wealth, financial freedom, then tap in. The contract address will be pinned in the comments below, y'all. Remember, all of this is a distraction to keep us from getting everything we are owed. Literally, y'all know that. Tap in with us, y'all. Let's catch this wave. Peace in.
I made a video where I said, just found out there are no black girls on Epstein Island. Shit. Happy Black History Month, I guess. When I made that video, it was after seeing this photo that was been circulating on social media where it shows racial exclusion of victims being brought to Epstein Island. When I made that video, it was to point out the irony that racism, something that is meant to harm black people, may have saved some black victims from being sent to that island. However, I did have misinformation, and I do apologize for spreading misinformation when there definitely were black victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his companions. Is that the right word? Though I found humor in the irony of the situation, in no way was I trying to make fun of the victims or say that sex trafficking and child sexual assault is condonable as long as it happens to people of other races. I do understand why it was taken that way, and I appreciate the added perspective that I now have and have since taken the videos down.
Because what you mean, according to the Epstein files, he had a specific rule of no black girls, right? Because according to him, they're hard to manipulate and even harder to control. Translation, he was afraid that they were too smart and they would fight back. Strike a win for stereotype saving the day.
No black girls allowed on Epstein Island? Here's why. Jeff gave in at some point and told him, yes, I'll find some friends. Jeff wanted young, fresh girls, virgins. He told, don't bring me any N-words. Never ever brought any friends. At this point in the interview, attorney Barry advised the following. At Epstein's request, she at times met people on the beach and may have told them something to the effect of, if you want to party, go to Epstein's. Following statement. Shook her shoulders and head in the affirmative. Clarified that after what Jeff had done to her, she did not want it. The grapes and actual assaults to be repeated. And she decided finding other girls for him, strangers she found in town, might spare her more abuse.
So, as of today, there hasn't been black victims in the Epstein files? Have there been black celebrities, black people on the logs? Yes. Has there been any damning evidence towards them? Not yet, right? So they're not free. But as of now, there's been no black female victims, and here's insight on why.
Black girls allowed on Epstein Island? Here's why. Jeff gave in at some point and told him, yes, I'll find some friends. Jeff wanted young, fresh girls, virgins. He told, don't bring me any words. Never ever brought any friends. At this point in the interview.
So this is somebody named Jeff talking to one of the recruiters. I don't know if you guys remember, but one of those girls, after she was taken advantage of, she didn't want it to happen anymore. So she started to just recruit for him. She said, I don't want him to do it to me no more. So maybe if I go recruit the other girls, he'll leave me alone. So that's what she did. And this guy was saying, don't bring me any words. No black girls, don't bring them over here.
Attorney Barry advised the following. At Epstein's request, she at times met people on the beach, may have told them something to the effect of, if you want to party, go to Epstein's. Following statement, shook her shoulders and head in the affirmative, clarified that after what Jeff had done to her, she did not want it, the grapes and actual assaults, to be repeated. She decided finding other girls for him, strangers she found in town, might spare her more. No black girls.
As long as they wasn't black. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As of now, there were no black victims. I'm going to call that a good thing. You know, I feel bad for all the other victims. You get what I mean? But I guess chocolate wasn't on the menu at Epstein Island.
So if you're a 90s baby, you probably remember how in the 2000s we were all dreaming about being discovered at the mall by a scouting agent and becoming an international model, you know, being hired by a modeling agency. We also noticed that more often than not, the scouting agents kept discovering white talent only. You know, we complained a lot about the lack of like black girls in the modeling industry. Come to find out that they were just selling those young girls to be trafficked to powerful elites. The scouting agents were supposed to pick some white girls, beautiful white young girls, and bring them to people like Epstein. I didn't think that black privilege existed until today. I didn't think that my discrimination could work to my advantage. It's like when they said no black person allowed on the Titanic, and then the Titanic ended up sinking. Us being black protected us from Epstein. Happy Black History Month, guys. Happy Black History Month.
So what I just had heard from the cousins on Threads is apparently there is no black women in the Epstein files because Epstein himself said, I don't ever want niggas on this island. I'm not supposed to laugh, am I? Say that's the only reason that there is no in the files, in that evidence to be found. Because down with the niggas. Down with the niggas. You know what, God? You be doing your little thing. Sometimes we don't understand. But I see you. I see the vision. Because all we can say is shout out to God on that one. Because what? It's not funny. It's not funny.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing fine. So please, let me know the state that you are in and confirm with me if you're okay down in the comment section, right? And let me know how you're doing. Is it morning, evening, Which state are you in? Are you working or what are you doing? Where are you watching this video from? Because it really helps me know how you're doing, know your welfare, how you are moving in the United States, because you are my people and I'm really proud of you. Now let's get into this. As I was saying, Black people have really come a long way. But one of the things to celebrate, especially during these Black Month, Black History Month, is that it reminds us the resilience that Black people have. Because if Jeffrey Epstein himself feared Black people, feared Black women, because the fight that Black people had, he was not ready for the smoke that Black people will bring. He was not ready because Black people would fight all these craziness that is going on. So, brothers and sisters, lately, Black people are talking, and they're saying this about Black women not being involved in the Epstein files. So, people add things to say, people add things to share about this that I feel like it's imperative if I try share it with you. Now, somebody said that I'm happy our girls are spared this danger, and I'm terribly heartbroken for the girls, boys, animals who weren't. Even the animals that these people engaged with. And it's so crazy that this was allowed to happen. But at the end of the day, everything that was being done in the dark is getting exposed. And we are seeing it being said in the light. And everyone is getting to say this. Somebody also came and said that Black girls being too hard to manipulate and even added control is precisely how we were designed. See, this is how you know when a man, regardless of race, has bad intention. When he needs you, fit, feminine, and friendly, right? That and all that red pill dudes who want to shame us so bad, they already know what's up. Take that manipulative, abusive ass behavior somewhere else. To not being an easy leak. America got 99 problems and a Black girl ain't one. So that's really great. Hearing how Black people, especially Black women, are not easily manipulated. For once, we have the complexion for the protection. I saw this one on another channel. So Jeffrey didn't want to get his ass whooped. In short, he was not ready for the smoke that came with Black folks, that came with Black women. Somebody said that Somebody said that when I feel really bad about what Epstein and the rest of those sick, rich buttholes did to those poor palm-up children, I believe that there are a special place in hell for the sick people, and I hope they all go straight there. But I believe you are right about this time. Racist outlook saved kids from these sickos horrors. Somebody saying that as a woman from Kenya, several African countries are mentioned in Epstein files as trafficking center for African babies. Kenya, Somalia, Cote d'Ivoire, plus Sasha Riley, on one of the victims, clearly came out and said that they knew a girl named Samantha, who was an African American who they were both trafficked with to Epstein and associates, even though these primary victims seem to be of white descent. Other races were not off the hook. So somebody's trying to share a little bit different, contrary opinion to what people are saying. They're saying that they were Black girls, but they chose vulnerable ones, probably ones that could not report, ones that they were sure that could not give the smoke. Somebody's saying that for the first time in history, being difficult is a strength because of this. Our Black children were safe, and I love that we embrace our uniqueness. Let's continue to be unapologetically ourselves. Not every space is meant for us. Not everyone's presence deserves to be in our lives. I'm sorry for the other victims. Somebody also said that, they already violate girls of color in poor places like Sri Lanka, Thailand, various African countries, sex tourism, where children tended to be more protected, which is why the elites weren't there. Somebody will say that once again, the racism works out our favor. Just like they purge off the military of our people, we need our soldiers on protecting us and not fighting some perpetual suicide war across the world. Thank you. Right. Somebody said that the rejection has always been our protection. It's not. If not for our racism, we would have drowned in their demonic culture. We are very grateful for their evil behavior towards us for 100 years. It kept us God consciousness in track. Hallelujah. Okay. Somebody say that one thing is these cable of wealthy global elites are behind the intentional proliferation of white supremacist nationalist ideology and movements, but behind closed doors, they exercise preference for white girls and boys for all manners or sadistic exploitation. The ultimate manipulation. I'm grateful for my melanin, but I'm praying for every single of these survivors and those who did not to physically survive to their justice. The whole cabal is going to prison for life. All of them. Somebody also said that, have you heard of slave breeding ranches, farms? This may be one of the worst things I found concerning slavery on the American continent. In 1807/1808, America and Britain banned the illegal shipment of slaves, but due to high demand of slaves, illegal shipments arranged by New York businessmen in liaison with Southern owners legally brought some Africans into the country up until the 1860s. So that was 60 years of black people still being legally deported. Now, consequently, America ended the shipments of slaves from Africa to cut out the middleman, African tribal chiefs and shipping companies, to create and sell their own batches of humans. Large slave breeding ranches were created in some southern states. People were bred using disgusting practices. Young girls were abused, raped, incest, where mothers had babies, their own sons and their relatives. Women made to have babies every 9 months until they could nearly stand. Abuse by their masters and overseers were common. Children were sold to other locations often. The transatlantic slave trade, by record of the documents, only brought about 400,000 Africans out of 10 million that arrived alive in the Americas to America over 300 years period. But due to slave breeding farms, the number of slaves had reached 4 million by 1860. The breeding ranches are documented in the Library of Congress, but few educators will teach about this. So, as African American with graduate school credential, it is difficult to discover these things. Some I wish I could erase from my mind and memory. Yeah. Somebody's also trying to say that they are trying to shift the narrative, blaming a dead man for everything, but let's focus on the living. Don't pay attention to this narrative. It's a trick of deception. Shift blame. The living here today are the guilty ones. Stay focused. Don't be fooled. Race is not the issue. The crime itself is the real story. We have got to stop being detracting by these minimal bits of information and focus on the living criminals and predators. This is a crime of humanity. Kill or be killed. Survival is the main focus. We live in a dog-eat-dog world to stay protected and blessed. We are the soldiers for this fight. So brothers and sisters, please let me know what you think and feel about this scenario, because it's crazy. But again, we are having people with contrary opinion. People are still saying that black people are still not safe. Some people are saying black people are safe. But it all depends with where you are learning all this information from. But at the end of the day, I'm here to disseminate this information, right? So I'm your host and presenter Tech Stories. But until then, I'm hoping to see you on my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.